Mavericks beat the Timberwolves, and they go up 1-0 in the series. You got tonight, Pacers at the Celtics, Game 2 for entertainment purposes only. The Pacers are getting 9 against the Celtics. And despite the loss in Game 1, according to DraftKings, Timberwolves are still big favorites to advance to the NBA Finals. But last night, you had Kyrie going off in the first half, and you had Luka going off in the fourth quarter. That was enough to, and they did a lot of their damage in the paint, which I'm surprised at because when you think of Minnesota, best defensive team in the NBA, you got the defensive player of the year, you got basically 3 7-footers inside, and Dallas dominated in the paint last night. Surprised with that. More on that game coming up. More on the Pacers and the Celtics as well. What do we have, Seton, for our poll question? Stat of the day is always brought to you by Panini America, the official trading cards of the program. And this first hour brought to you by Simply Safe Home Security. When you sign up for Fast Protect monitoring, you get 20% off any new Simply Safe system. Just visit simplysafedan.com. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Paul just sent over one best vague excuse for losing a game. Quote, it was just not our night. Quote, we didn't execute the way we wanted to, or some of us didn't want enough.
Okay. Can you play Anthony Edwards after last night's game? Anthony Edwards, the 22-year-old next Michael Jordan, had this to say.
Did you think that the high from Game 7 maybe kind of affected you guys coming into today at all?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, y'all can see it was a step behind everybody, especially myself. Kyrie got a transition layup from, I think we scored, and he just outran me. I was just exhausted, man. So, yeah, for sure. But we'll be all right.
Okay. You may think that, but don't say that. You're 22. Kyrie, after a made basket, took the ball and went coast to coast and blew by Anthony Edwards. That's not a good excuse. We ran out of energy. We were a little tired. Maybe what happened in Denver. I get it. Game 7 on the road at altitude. But you were back home. Dallas only needed 6 games to put away OKC. I understand that. You're 10 years older or younger than Kyrie Irving. Don't admit that. That's not a good excuse. What are the other excuses we have there, Seton?
It was just not our night.
Just not our night.
That's the best.
Okay.
Yeah, to be fair, we don't have, you know what, we were just tired on the list. We don't have that, but you rarely hear that one. Are athletes not allowed to be tired?
If you're 22,
yeah,
I'm going to say no. If we've been praising you for your athleticism, you're the next Michael Jordan, and then you tell me that Kyrie, who's 10 years older than you, blew by you coast to coast, I have a little bit of a, like, it could happen one time, but then he said, well, we might be tired. Yes.
Don't we expect athletes to leave it all out there every single night?
Yeah.
Which would imply exhausting all of your physical abilities.
Maybe he's exhausted from exhausting all of his physical abilities.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm just saying.
I don't think you admit to that.
Yeah, I don't know that you do.
I don't think
you're
so.
You are too young to do it. But actually, it's probably worse to do it when you're old. When you're aging and you're like, you know what, we were just exhausted out there. Be like, yeah, because you're too old.
Okay, imagine if any other player said this.
AKA.
KD, LeBron.
Oh, there we go.
How much would we be crushing them today? You know, maybe we're just tired. Maybe we're just old. Feels like with Ant-Man, the way he says something, like it doesn't sound as bad because he's so entertaining when he's delivering it. Working on his Kevin Hart delivery.
You know, yeah, it's like if some people say they're exhausted, it's definitely worse than others. Like if AD was like, man, we were just exhausted out there, I'd be like, oh my God, dude, shut up. Play the game.
Yeah. You're right.
Yeah, like I would have no patience for it whatsoever.
What other poll questions do we have today? Well, you know, now it's the age of, hey, I'll take all the blame. Somebody's always taking the blame after the game. And sometimes it's the coach, like Rick Carlisle. He's got, oh, it's on me. And then Tyrese Halliburton goes, no, I know what coach is trying to do.
So is coach saying we didn't execute the way we wanted to tonight? Or is coach saying some of us didn't want it enough?
Ooh, damn.
One of those feels more player worthy. The other one.
Or how about, we just weren't prepared.
Oh, that's a coach. I didn't do a good job preparing the guys.
Yes.
I didn't do a good job.
Yes.
Okay, you're fired.
This one's on me.
Yeah.
Literally, your only job is to prepare them for the game.
Yes,
You're fired.
that's your job.
Especially during football season. You guys had 7 days to do this. It's the worst.
Anything else?
Well, with the series up 1-0, who do you like to win now? Has that shifted at all?
Well, I like Dallas, but it's going to be a coin toss, really. I think it's going 7 games. The thing that I was looking at, there are a couple of things. They scored in the paint, which was really surprising. Dallas outscored Minnesota 10-3 in the final 3.5 minutes to pull out that win. Also, the Mavericks outscored Minnesota 62-38 in the paint. That's incredible.
Woo! Ow! Stat of the day! Stat of the day! Stat of the day! Stat of the day! This is the stat of the day!
But Luka and Kyrie combined for 63. They scored in the paint, and Ant-Man didn't play great. Minnesota didn't play great, and they only lost by 3 points. I expect them to win game 2, but, it didn't feel like there was this sense of urgency that they had against Denver. It's almost like, all right, we're at home, we'll win this game, and then worry about the rest of the series. And then all of a sudden, Kyrie comes out and was unbelievable, had 24 in the first half. Here is Kyrie after the game.
We've been able to figure out that 1-2 punch of just playing the point guard role, playing that main scorer's role, and just not lacking in other areas in the basketball game. He can do other things, and I can do other things other than scoring. So when it's his time to score, it's my time to play defense and get up in my guy and contest shots and continue to do the little things that get us wins.
All right. This could be one of those coming out parties for Kyrie because one of the most talented players ever played the game. But we might look at him when it's all said and done the way we do Aaron Rodgers. They've kind of brought controversy. They brought attention. They've got 1 title each. Now, you can't deny the talent with either one of these players. But Aaron's got 1 Super Bowl. Kyrie's got an NBA title. And he hit the biggest shot. He won the finals with the shot over Steph Curry. But here's a guy who's never been first-team All-NBA. When you watch him sometimes, I always go, God, why didn't he do that all the time? Or why doesn't it work with other teams? We know what happened in Cleveland. He wanted it to be his team. It was his team. LeBron comes back. Now it's not his team. They win a title. Now he wants to have his team. He goes to the young Boston Celtics. It does not work out there. Brooklyn, he tried to create his own team, him and KD. Didn't work out there. Dallas gets him for pennies on the dollar, and all of a sudden, he's trying to figure out exactly how to make this work with Luka, which is not easy because Luka ball dominant, and Kyrie's just trying to fill in the area there of what do you need me to do game to game. And he's done a wonderful job. Probably an underrated job. I think we get caught up in his comments, and therefore, he's probably turned off a lot of NBA fans. I got to be fair to him when I watch him on the floor. Whether I like what he said off the floor, I got to assess him in what I see. And he's played really, really well. And it's been quiet, all quiet on the Western Front. And now here they are, 3 wins away from playing in the NBA Finals. And it might be one of those coming out parties again. Yes, Marv.
Do you think when Kyrie was young and he won the title and he's maybe 24 years old, he said, I can go somewhere else and play with another superstar and win. Do you think he got to the point where it's like, man, this is harder than I thought? And so now with Luka, he's like, I can't squander this opportunity because look how long it took me to get back even to the conference finals.
Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment of it. But, I don't know if we've ever had Kyrie on. I don't know him. I've read articles about him, but I don't know what his mindset is. I don't know if basketball, sometimes you're so good at something that you don't have to, like Kyler Murray. He was so good at football in high school. They didn't lose. Really good in college. Then all of a sudden you get to the pros and it's like, I'm talented, but they're talented too. Now is when you have to work. Kyrie's been so talented. What did he play? 8 or 9 games at Duke? And then he's the number 1 draft pick. And then it looked like it came easy to him. And then you win when you're young. And then all of a sudden you're like, I want my own team. And then you go to Boston. That was a young nucleus there. I mean, imagine if Kyrie was able to keep it together with that Boston unit. Whew. Then he goes to Brooklyn. He's going to hook up with KD. They're going to create their own super team. And that doesn't work out. And then all of a sudden it's like he's in no man's land. And Dallas is probably not his last stop. But what he's doing right now is really impressive. And it should be recognized as being very impressive. He plays when he's on. He does things nobody else does. Yes, Heaton.
It feels like this series is going to have one of two storylines play out. Either the Mavericks win, and it's like, well, hey, look, I mean, if either one of those two guys gets hot, you can't stop that team.
Yeah.
Or they're going to lose, and it's going to be like, well, hey, you can't win it with just those two guys. You need a third guy to step up. It's one of those two storylines is going to happen.
Yes, but I don't believe that you need the third person. I think you need the fourth and fifth and sixth person. You need a team. And that's the difference. If you look at Denver last year, they had two, and then they had three or four. And then they didn't have it this year. And they weren't a great team. Dallas, I think, has a pretty good team. I mean, and I say that, with emphasis on team. They have a group of players who seem to be playing really, really well. Minnesota, though, giving up the points in the paint. When this has not been a good postseason for Rudy Gobert when it comes to you're the defensive player of the year. I am, but it's more of a team award, which it is. It is. Unless you're on ball, it's me against you, Gary Payton or Jordan, then I'm going to play defense on you. It's not reliant on somebody behind me because nobody was afraid of Bill Cartwright or Bill Wennington going to the hoop. But when it's on-ball defender, it's hard to find those guys. But Rudy Gobert, I mean, I got to change my philosophy here, at least for game 2. Yeah, Paulie.
I know Gobert didn't have a big night and they lost. But he had, I think, 12 points and 2 blocks. He may lead the league in, we need a new stat, discouragements. Tim Hardaway Jr. took it to the rim and saw Gobert there and just kept on dribbling to the left. And that happens to Wembanyama sometimes.
Oh, I would say Wembanyama leads the league in discouragement.
Yeah, he's first team all discouragement because people go in and go, no, thank you.
I'm discouraging you.
Yeah,
yes, you are. Yes, you are.
We need a new stat.
Yes.